When was the last time you felt completely locked in, so focused that the world went quiet and time stopped fighting you? Not the fake focus where your body is present, but your mind is scattered. Real focus, the kind that makes you feel dangerous in the best way. If that question hits something inside you, it's because you felt the opposite for too long, pulled in 10 directions, busy but unsatisfied, trying hard but moving slow, and deep down, you know this isn't your limit. It never was. Every day starts with intention, and then it gets stolen by noise, by comparison, by endless inputs that drain you without asking permission. You wake up with plans, but you go to sleep wondering where the day went. That quiet frustration you carry isn't random, it's the signal that you're capable of more than this scattered version of yourself, the signal that your mind wants order, not chaos, power, not distraction. You don't lack motivation, you lack containment. Your energy leaks everywhere, and what leaks can't build anything solid. That's why effort feels heavy. That's why progress feels slow. It's not because you aren't disciplined enough, it's because your attention is under constant attack. And the longer it stays that way, the more normal it feels to live below your potential. That's the real danger, not failure. Familiarity with mediocrity. There's a moment most people ignore. A moment when your mind whispers that something needs to change. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet knowing. You've felt it while staring at a screen too long, while starting over on the same goal again, while watching others move forward and wondering why you're stuck even though you're trying. That moment isn't weakness, it's awareness, and awareness is the doorway. Here's the truth: most people never sit with long enough to feel. Your life doesn't change when you want it to. It changes when your focus becomes non-negotiable, when you stop negotiating with distractions, when you stop giving your best hours to things that give nothing back. Focus isn't just a productivity tool, it's identity level power. What you consistently focus on is what you become, whether you choose it or not. Right now, your mind is cluttered with unfinished thoughts, half decisions, and constant stimulation. That mental noise isn't harmless. It drains confidence, it blurs direction, it makes simple things feel overwhelming. But underneath all that noise, there's a sharper version of you, calm, precise, unshakable. That version isn't built through hype or shortcuts. It's unlocked through one decision made repeatedly, the decision to lock in. Locking in doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means choosing what deserves access to you. It means reclaiming your attention like it matters, because it does. Everything meaningful you want, progress, mastery, respect, freedom, requires sustained focus, not bursts, not moods, consistency, and consistency only survives in an environment you control. You don't need more information, you're already overloaded. You need alignment, one direction, one priority at a time. When your actions stop competing with each other, momentum returns, confidence grows quietly, you start trusting yourself again. Not because you feel inspired, but because you do what you said you would do, over and over. That trust compounds faster than motivation ever could. If you stay with this feeling instead of numbing it, something shifts. You begin to see distraction for what it is. A tax on your future, a delay on the life you know you're meant to build, and once you truly see that, you can't unknow it. You start wanting depth instead of dopamine, progress instead of applause, control instead of chaos. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing what's been diluting you, about returning to a state where your mind works for you, not against you. Stay here. Let this awareness settle. Because what you're sensing right now isn't pressure, it's possibility. And when you learn to lock in, that possibility stops being theoretical. It becomes real. That possibility sharpens when you realize time isn't waiting for clarity. It's moving whether you are ready or not. Every day you hesitate, your habits are deciding for you. Every hour you drift, your future is being shaped by default. That should unsettle you, not with fear, but with urgency, because the gap between who you are and who you could be isn't talent. It's focus applied over time. And time doesn't refund what you waste. You already know what distraction costs. You feel it when progress stalls, when goals stay theoretical, when confidence flickers because your actions don't match your intentions. That mismatch creates tension inside you. Ignore it long enough and it turns into doubt. Sit with it honestly and it turns into drive. This is the fork in the road. One path keeps you comfortable and scattered. The other demands precision. Not someday, now. There's a discipline that wakes up only when excuses stop being entertained. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it waits. The moment you decide that your future deserves more respect than your impulses, it steps forward. That's when your days stop feeling random. That's when effort starts stacking instead of canceling itself out. You stop chasing momentum and start generating it. Focus isn't about doing more, it's about removing friction, fewer priorities, fewer inputs, fewer compromises. When your mind isn't split, your energy multiplies. Tasks that once felt heavy become simple, not easy, but clear. Clarity is power. It tells your nervous system where to aim. It tells your actions what matters. Without it, even hard work becomes noise. The world will never slow down to help you concentrate. It benefits from your distraction, from your scrolling, from your half attention. If you don't actively defend your focus, it will be taken. And once it's taken, so is your edge. That's why locking in isn't optional for anyone who wants more than average results. It's the price of entry for a meaningful life. There will be resistance. Your mind will crave stimulation. Your habits will try to pull you back. That's not failure. That's conditioning breaking. Every time you stay with the discomfort, instead of escaping it, you rewire something deep. You prove to yourself that you're in control. That proof is addictive in the best way. It builds self-respect. And self-respect changes behavior faster than motivation ever will. When you lock in, you stop negotiating with yourself. You do the work whether it feels good or not, especially when it doesn't. That's where most people fold. That's where separation happens. Not in talent, not in intelligence, in tolerance for depth, in the ability to stay present when distraction offers an easier exit. This is where your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You become someone who executes quietly, consistently, without needing validation. Your confidence no longer depends on results showing up immediately. It comes from knowing you're aligned, from knowing today wasn't wasted, from knowing you honored your word to yourself. The stakes are higher than productivity. This is about who you become under pressure, about whether you let the world fragment your attention or you decide to concentrate it into something powerful. Focus creates momentum, momentum creates belief, belief fuels action, and action changes outcomes. Break that chain anywhere and everything weakens. Strengthen it and your life starts moving with force. You don't need permission to lock in. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a decision that doesn't expire when it gets uncomfortable. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. The sooner you commit, the faster things align. This moment matters more than you think, not because it's dramatic, but because it's decisive. Stay here, stay present. Let the urgency sharpen you instead of overwhelming you, because once you choose focus with intention, there's no going back to drifting without feeling the cost. And that awareness, once activated, becomes a standard, a line you don't cross again. Every choice you make compounds, every hour you protect or waste adds up. Right now, you are writing the story of yourself without even realizing it. Each distraction, each half-hearted effort, each surrender to comfort leaves an invisible mark. And when you finally look back, you see not failure, but time stolen. That realization is heavy. But heavy doesn't mean hopeless, it means opportunity. Because awareness is the first weapon in your arsenal. Once you see where energy leaks, you can redirect it. Once you understand what cheapens your focus, you can reclaim it. And once you act, momentum ignites. Discipline isn't something that appears magically. It's forged in repetition, in showing up when nothing inside you wants to, in the quiet hours when nobody applauds, in the moments when it's easier to quit than continue. That's where identity is built, not from luck, not from flashes of inspiration, but from proving to yourself over and over that you can endure, that you can persist, that you can do the work when it matters most. That endurance becomes the skeleton of your character, unshakable and undeniable. Your mind will fight it. Habits will rebel. Temptation will whisper louder than your ambition. And that's exactly when you measure yourself. Because anyone can stay strong when it's easy. True power is forged when everything inside is screaming for escape. That resistance is the test. Pass it repeatedly and you transform. Not just your results, but the way you see yourself. You stop being someone who hopes, you become someone who executes, someone whose actions align perfectly with intent, someone whose presence alone carries weight. This isn't theory, this is applied strategy. Focus is more than effort, it's exclusion, choosing what not to give your attention to, because every distraction you allow is a tax on your future. Every compromise is a subtle surrender. If you don't control your focus, something else will. The world profits from your scattered attention. The life you dream of requires that you reclaim it relentlessly, consistently, without negotiation. The stakes aren't abstract, they are immediate. Every day you drift, you fall behind, even if you feel busy. Every decision delayed compounds the pressure. That quiet unease inside you isn't random. It's the universe signaling that you're capable of more, that you're capable of mastery, that you're capable of turning effort into unstoppable progress. You just have to act decisively, repeatedly, without waiting for circumstances to be perfect. Consistency becomes your weapon. Repetition becomes your advantage. Confidence grows silently, quietly, until it's unshakable. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to stay aligned, to honor your commitments to yourself, to execute whether it feels good or not. Because the person who executes becomes unstoppable. They stop fearing failure. They stop needing validation. They simply become. Every moment you resist distraction, every task you finish when it's uncomfortable, every choice to honor your attention compounds into a life that demands respect. That life doesn't require permission, it requires sacrifice, focus, and relentless action. And once you see what locking in feels like, you can't accept anything less. Your standard rises, your tolerance for mediocrity disappears. Every second you allow yourself to drift becomes unacceptable. This is the edge, the line between drifting through life and commanding it. Once you cross it, nothing feels the same. You carry clarity, you carry control, you carry inevitability. Momentum becomes unstoppable because it is no longer dependent on emotion or circumstance. It flows from discipline, alignment, and absolute refusal to be distracted. That's how mastery is built. That's how potential turns into results. That's how ordinary effort becomes extraordinary outcomes. Every choice, every hour, every act of focus is a vote for the life you want. Stop casting votes for distraction. Stop surrendering your attention. Commit fully, relentlessly, because the world will never slow down. Only you can rise above the chaos. Only you can lock in and become unshakable. Only you can turn awareness into action and action into the results you've always known you deserve. The difference between those who drift and those who dominate is brutal in its simplicity. Attention. Where your focus goes, energy follows. Where energy flows, results appear. And yet most people treat attention like it's infinite. They give it away casually, waste it on noise, on things that feel urgent but are meaningless. Every time you let that happen, you pay a price you can't see immediately. Weeks pass, months pass, years pass, and suddenly the life you imagined feels distant. Not because you lacked ability, but because you scattered yourself into fragments too small to hold power. That's the danger, not failure, complacency, slow erosion disguised as routine. Imagine the alternative. Imagine a life where your attention is a weapon, where every action, every thought, every choice is deliberately aligned with the outcome you want. That life isn't some abstract dream. It exists behind a wall most people never climb. The wall is discomfort, the wall is boredom, the wall is resisting temptation when your instincts scream for ease. Every step you take through that resistance builds momentum. Every second you endure, every decision to stay focused compounds into something unstoppable. And once you start climbing, the summit grows closer with every deliberate effort. You feel resistance because change matters. The harder it feels, the more significant the transformation. Your mind fights because it senses a shift in identity is coming. You're no longer allowed to drift. You're no longer allowed to bargain with mediocrity. That quiet voice inside, the one that whispers, just for today, is the enemy of greatness. Silence it. Replace it with action. Replace hesitation with repetition. Replace scattered effort with ruthless consistency. That's the cost of entry. Pay it, and your life begins to obey you. Focus is not comfort, it's power, it's leverage, it's the engine behind every breakthrough you've ever admired in someone else. And it works for you too, if you will it. You don't need luck, you don't need permission, you need to decide every hour, every minute that your goals are non-negotiable, that your time is sacred, that the distractions of the world will not steal what is rightfully yours. Progress, mastery, and momentum. This is where ordinary effort stops being enough. This is where execution becomes supremacy. The stakes aren't distant, they're immediate. Every second you waste compounds. Every task avoided delays your potential. Every half effort strengthens inertia, while every committed, focused action creates acceleration. Life doesn't pause for preparation or clarity. Life accelerates for those who act decisively. Momentum doesn't wait for motivation. It rewards discipline, and discipline is built only through repeated choice. The small decisions you make consistently outweigh the big decisions you agonize over once in a while. That is how power is quietly accumulated. And now the opportunity stares you down. Will you continue letting attention slip? Letting comfort govern action, letting hesitation dictate identity? Or will you rise, fully present, fully committed, fully locked in? The tension inside you is the signal. The resistance you feel is the fuel. The urgency pounding in your chest is the reminder that life doesn't forgive delay. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Only action now produces change. Only focus now produces momentum. Only commitment now produces results that last. This is your line to cross, your standard to uphold, your decision to make irreversible. Once you choose to lock in, there's no turning back to fragmented effort. There's no satisfaction in mediocrity. Every distraction becomes visible for what it is. Every wasted moment becomes unacceptable. Every choice is weighted against the life you say you want. Once you accept that reality, nothing can derail you. You carry clarity, you carry force, you carry inevitability. And when that force is applied consistently, the world doesn't resist. It yields, results appear, progress becomes unstoppable. Life bends toward execution, and execution defines destiny. Every second you hesitate, the world moves. Every second you commit, momentum grows. The choice is yours, but the consequences are real. Lock in, protect your attention, harness your energy, build momentum that compounds. Become the person who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg, who doesn't hope. Become the person who executes every day, every hour, every moment. That is the only way to turn potential into power and power into the life you've always known you deserve. Momentum is born in those who refuse to be distracted. It's not flashy, it's not dramatic, it's quiet, relentless, and unstoppable. Each small action compounds. Each choice to stay aligned with your purpose strengthens the foundation beneath you. The world doesn't notice the hours you dedicate to focus. It only sees the results later, but those results carry the weight of inevitability because they were earned with precision. That's how ordinary effort becomes extraordinary. That's how potential is transformed into dominance. Every day you hesitate, the gap between you and your goals widens. Every second you chase comfort instead of commitment, momentum slips through your fingers. You felt it, that creeping frustration, that quiet anxiety that something is slipping while you wait for inspiration. That's reality speaking to you, not to punish you, but to awaken you. It's the only way you'll see how urgent your focus truly is. The only way you'll realize that distraction isn't neutral, it's a tax you can't afford. The people who achieve what others only dream of understand one truth. Execution is everything. Talent fades, motivation fluctuates, circumstances change, but relentless focus, applied consistently, compounds into results no obstacle can stop. That consistency isn't built in moments of excitement or ease. It's built in the resistance, in the discomfort, in the hours nobody sees, the hours when your body wants to quit but your mind refuses. That's where power is forged. That's where confidence becomes unshakable. That's where identity is rewritten. You feel the pressure because you've never done this before. That tension inside is not a weakness. It's proof that you are stepping into something meaningful. Your instincts want comfort because they protect you from change. They fear growth because growth demands more than you've given before. But what if you gave it anyway? What if you embraced the discomfort, pushed through the resistance, and refused to negotiate with your attention? Every time you do, you reinforce a truth. You are in control. You are stronger than your impulses. You are capable of mastering yourself. Focus isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter, deliberately, ruthlessly. It's about removing the meaningless noise, choosing the essential few, and committing to them with everything you have. Every action becomes a building block. Every moment becomes leverage. Every decision becomes a force multiplier. And when you do this repeatedly, you stop being reactive. You stop being at the mercy of circumstance. You start designing outcomes instead of hoping for them. You become inevitable. The cost of drifting is real. The cost of delay is immediate. Every second you allow distraction to win, you compound the gap between where you are and where you could be. That unease, that tension is the signal. Listen to it. Respond to it. Let it fuel the shift inside you. Stop negotiating with comfort. Stop chasing fleeting motivation. Stop allowing hesitation to define your actions. Every moment you resist, every time you choose focus, you are creating leverage in a life that demands it. You are capable of more than scattered effort. You are capable of domination through alignment. You are capable of mastery through relentless, repeated action. The world doesn't slow down to let you catch up. It rewards those who act decisively, those who seize control of their attention, those who refuse to give up even when it's hard. That is the path to results that cannot be denied. That is the path to becoming unstoppable. That is the path to a life that reflects the full measure of your potential. Every choice now matters. Every action now compounds. Every second now is a vote for the person you are becoming. Lock in, protect your focus, execute with precision, build momentum that cannot be interrupted. Refuse to accept distraction. Refuse to settle. Refuse to wait for someone else to give you permission. This is the line. Cross it, claim it, live it, and watch as your potential, once dormant, erupts into unstoppable results that reshape everything around you. Everything you've built so far is fragile if you let distraction creep back in. Momentum is easy to start, but brutal to maintain. Every second spent indecisively, every task left half finished, every moment surrendered to comfort chips away at progress. That's the silent cost of ignoring focus. You can feel it already, an unease that won't leave, a gnawing inside that tells you you're capable of more, demanding that you act. That pressure isn't punishment, it's an alarm. And it's time to respond. The edge between ordinary and unstoppable is thinner than most admit. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's attention. Where your energy flows, results multiply. Where it drifts, potential leaks. Every day you negotiate with distraction, every day you allow hesitation, the gap between who you are and who you could be grows, and it grows faster than you imagine. That sense of urgency you feel, that tightness in your chest, that's reality trying to shake you awake. Pay attention because your future is being written right now by choices most people don't even notice. Discipline doesn't show up in grand gestures. It's quiet, stubborn, and relentless. It's choosing the hard path when the easy one tempts you. It's continuing when your mind screams, stop. It's showing up when nobody is watching. Every time you push through, every time you resist, every time you refuse to surrender your focus, you rewire yourself. You prove to yourself that your actions are stronger than your impulses. That proof compounds faster than inspiration ever could. That's where identity is forged. That's where mastery begins. The mind will fight, comfort will call, the world will tempt you with small, meaningless wins disguised as reward. That's how ordinary people stay stuck. They let cheap pleasure replace deliberate action. They confuse noise with progress. You cannot. You must learn to say no to distractions, to procrastination, to every impulse that diminishes your leverage. Each time you resist, your control grows. Each time you stay aligned, your momentum multiplies. This is the power few ever understand. Focus is leverage, and leverage is everything. Every moment you hesitate, time is taking sides. It doesn't care about excuses or intentions, it rewards execution. The faster you act, the faster the gap closes between what you want and what you have. The slower you wait, the heavier the regret grows. That tension you feel now is not accidental. It is the signal of opportunity. It is the weight of potential pressing against the limits of your current habits. It is the exact moment where greatness is decided. Not tomorrow, not later, but now. When you lock in, your world changes quietly, almost imperceptibly at first. You feel sharper, clearer, stronger. Decisions become easier, action becomes automatic. Progress accelerates because nothing competes with your focus. Chaos still exists outside, but inside you are untouchable. You move through life with force, you become inevitable. Every task you complete compounds. Every consistent choice strengthens momentum. Every small victory creates belief. Belief fuels more action. Action creates results. That cycle is unstoppable. This is more than productivity. This is transformation. This is the line between drifting through life and commanding it. The world will continue as it always has, loud, distracting, chaotic. The difference is you. You have chosen to protect your attention. You have chosen to execute relentlessly. You have chosen to build momentum that cannot be stopped. And that choice is permanent. Once you feel the power of being locked in, once you see how unstoppable consistent focus makes you, you cannot accept anything less. Every second becomes precious. Every moment counts. Every action matters. The life you imagined begins the instant you refuse to be distracted again.